The gaming industry over the last decade and a half has basically allowed themselves to enter this mentality of, look, we'll fix it later. So many developers have done this, notably a lot under Microsoft, some under Sony, and a ton of them under Bethesda, Activision, EA, and a bunch of other developers as well. It is by far one of the worst mindsets that a gaming developer can have to think, oh my god, wait a minute, we actually don't need to finish the game. Let's just release it now in a poor state. Let's let the fans pay full price for it, buy it, report to us all of the issues that we never fixed or bothered to QA for, and then we can just sell it incrementally at cheaper prices over time to get the rest of the players that we would have already had, and we can have a redemption arc. So many developers have done this. CDPR is a sad example of one of the biggest reasons on why fix it later mentality is probably going to continue, because yes, don't get me wrong, they did fix Cyberpunk in a lot of ways, and Phantom Liberty, in my opinion, probably one of the best video game expansions ever, but they should not be fully redeemed for just fixing Cyberpunk, okay? They need to make The Witcher 4 one of the greatest games ever. Once they can prove to us that yes, we can still release a solid game, 100%, you've redeemed yourself. But as of right now, you're still on thin ice. Bethesda, for example, oh my god, I don't think they'll ever recover. Like, the Elder Scrolls 6 could be the greatest thing ever, and I still want to see Fallout 5 being the greatest thing ever, because unfortunately enough, even if you take away from Fallout 76, right, you say, oh, you know what, online game, they didn't know what the hell they were doing, we'll ignore that. Okay, Starfield was just like, yes, sure, it was a polished-ish game, but it was still busted. It still wasn't that great. It still was just lacking in so much of anything, and innovation, and just like actual polish that your newer projects, even the Fallout 4 Anniversary Edition, the Oblivion Remaster, the Starfield PS5 port, literally every single thing that Bethesda has released in the past few years, any Fallout 76 update, Burning Springs, literally you couldn't play Fallout 76 when they dropped a map expansion. You couldn't play the game. Like, I don't know about ESO's updates, and if that has really been a big shit show every time they decide to release something, but at least everywhere else at Bethesda Game Studios core, they can't release a good fucking game. Halo Studios, oh my god, it's so sad. Halo Infinite, man, launched, huge launch, right? Considering other games as launches now with like full price games, wasn't really that successful. 250,000 players is nice, not that crazy though. It had so much potential. It didn't have good customization like they promised, it didn't have enough game modes, it didn't have enough actual things to go for, and it took them several years to get to the point now where I think if you played Halo Infinite right now, you would find a goddamn good experience. But no one wants to go back to a 6-year-old game that they're not going to be supporting because they're making the next Halo game. Even though Halo Infinite, in my opinion, as of right now, was an awesome game. They've balanced everything out, they have a ton of stuff to go for, they have a store where you can unlock currency that you can earn in-game by just playing the game. Like, they have so many different sorts of customizations and skins they're selling. Now, albeit a bit overpriced, like $20 for Spartan armor is still kind of crazy, but they definitely did fix it. But it's good to see that, look, even though you did fix the game and it isn't in the best state it's ever been, players won't go back to it because they're not giving you second chances on something that you should have had at launch. We've had countless examples of this in live service games where they've also failed. Anthem, for example. Anthem was a game that BioWare wanted to try to save after EA let them develop whatever the fuck they were developing for 7 years, and then they had to rush it out in the last 2 years of development because they were fucking around for 5 years not doing anything. So they're like, Anthem 2.0, and then EA realized, look, this probably just isn't going to be a good idea, let's just not develop this, right? Like, we're done with that, we're just not even going to worry about it. And we've had other games as well. Concord, Highguard, oh my god. Concord, for example, launched where it was literally just a 5v5 player v player hero shooter. Like, it was just unsuccessful. Highguard, for example, was a game that did release without enough content, a game that did release without enough customization or battle passes to keep it going. Another game that, fortunately enough, also didn't have any sort of redeeming qualities about it. It was one of the most mediocre games ever. We lead in an industry where so many gaming developers think it's okay, and it blows my mind that so many gaming developers think it is okay to release single player games, and then have the gall to say, look, we're gonna get it right when we release more content updates. Avowed and The Outer Worlds 2 are a fucking great example of this. This is coming from Obsidian. Avowed literally had like its own 2.0 when it came to PlayStation, with a bunch of new classes, with a bunch of new updates, and it's like, why couldn't this be in the game day one? Why did we have to wait a year for you to fix things? Why do we have to wait a year for you to add more content? Why couldn't you have just delayed it? Why couldn't you have just taken more time, and then maybe the game would have been better when people bought it at full price, when people paid for early access? Why are you discounting the fucking game to the people who who didn't even get the chance to buy it, right? And how insulting is that to the customer that bought it at full price? Imagine how insulting it is to a customer that bought Cyberpunk 2077 at launch, played with the most broken experience possible, and then 5 years later, for someone who didn't even know the game was a thing, gets to buy it at $15 with its DLC as well for another $20 in its best form yet. How insulting that is to the customers. It is insane. And developers, they still will continue to do it because people will still buy the fucking games, and it blows my mind. And look, as a channel that really plays a lot of Fallout 76, I will take some hypocrisy here. I've been playing the game since 2018. I've experienced it since launch. I'm not one of those players that came in like 2022, 2023, when the game had a shit ton of content. I got to experience every single fault with the game. I got to experience every single bug, every single problem, every single glitch that Bethesda added to that game. And I will continue to do so with their future games like Starfield. I have played since launch. I will continue to go back when there are content updates to see if they can actually fix the game. Free lanes should not have taken 2 years to add. I don't understand why it took so long to add interplanetary travel. Like, again, if these things were in the game at launch, if you guys realized or beta tested the fucking thing and realized, hey, look, yeah, it is a polished game. It's our most polished game yet, according to Todd Howard, and yet it is so lacking in any quality content. It's like, yeah, you guys, again, I've said in several videos before this, you made a content map that as wide as the biggest oceans on the planet, but as small and deep and minuscule as a fucking puddle. It is insulting. Fuck, even Rockstar Games, a generational developer, is at fault for these kinds of business practices. Not with their single player story titles. I mean, you could really argue the GTA trilogy by Grove Street Games was insulting. Full prices for 3 games that were completely broken, busted, and inherent worse versions of themselves. But I'm mainly talking about GTA Online and Red Dead Online. Now, GTA Online in its current state is awesome. There's hundreds of hours of content to do, so much to grind for. You could spend so much time in that game. Red Dead Online as well. There's a solid amount of content. The problem, however, is that both games released in inherently garbage states. Now, for GTA, we'll say, hey, look, they probably didn't expect hundreds of millions of copies, right? Like a ton of money coming in. They probably didn't expect a mass open world multiplayer MMO type game to really get birthed out of GTA Online. They probably just expected like, hey, look, we'll make some missions, we'll sell a few shark cards. This is what's going to keep us going till our next game. But then it blew up in a massive way and they're like, holy shit, actually, this game's busted. We probably should have released it in a better state. Now, that doesn't excuse Red Dead Online, because at that point, GTA Online was at its top, like, you know, they were releasing the Doomsday Heist for fuck's sake. Like, they were at the top of their popularity. And even then, the top of their popularity for GTA Online, I think, was like Kyle Perico or the Diamond Casino Heist. So they haven't even been able to break through the peak of what GTA Online was going to be. We all expected an amazing Western multiplayer game with so much stuff to do and content and everything to explore. And what we got was the single player map, which is a beautiful map. But then we got contact missions. And not even that, we got boring contact missions. And it took them over 1.5 years to add any sort of content of substance, any sort of content that actually made sense. So what we had was a boring slog grind in order to get horses and guns. That was it. Horses and guns. That was your progression in Red Dead Online. It was horses and guns. Those are the two main things that you'd be able to get. You have the better gun, good, you've progressed further. And then, oh, maybe some clothing, right? But like, there's not like houses, there wasn't businesses, there wasn't anything that would actually make sense in comparative to where this Red Dead Online team could have taken from GTA Online and actually just basically ported it over, saying, hey, look, we're just gonna redo what we did for GTA Online because that was so successful and put it into Red Dead Online. And what's even sadder is that they'll probably release GTA 6 Online for a good or a bad state, but they won't go back to Red Dead Online, which is so disappointing because they could. That game should be and could be so much more, and yet we have no new update for Red Dead Online in the summer, and GTA Online is getting another fucking heist before GTA 6 comes out. It is getting another heist. We haven't gotten a heist since 2020, guys. We haven't gotten a heist since Cyberpunk came out, since Kyle Perico. That is almost 6 years ago now, and that blows my mind because I remember exactly playing that fucking heist. I remember playing Cyberpunk, being so disappointed with it, and realizing a few days later, oh my god, wait a minute, a new heist comes out for GTA Online. I'm excited. That was almost 6 years ago now. We are 6 years later. GTA 6 is coming out. It fucking better come out later this year, and GTA Online is still getting another heist update. is still getting another heist update, while Red Dead Online has nothing. There are countless other live service titles I could be mentioning. I mean, Black Ops 7 for one, Kill the Justice League, you know, the Suicide Squad game, Battlefield 2042, some might argue Battlefield 6 is multiplayer as of late, and it's RedSec mode, which have kind of been like a launch in a poorish state and then fix later. Like, there's so many online titles that continue to get released in our gaming's day and age, and they shouldn't be releasing in these states. I mean, you have single player titles again that are releasing in abhorrent garbage states, and it's really sad because I look at Obsidian and I see, oh my god, you've done it twice now. You've released 2 big RPGs in the same year. Congratulations. But both of them are garbage. Both of them are disappointing. Both of them are lacking content. Both of them are lacking any sort of actual innovation that I expected. Yes, don't get me wrong, Outer Worlds 2 is a massive improvement over the first game, but it also is such a downgrade in a way that I don't want to play it because of its lack of optimization. Avowed was so fucking boring half the time. Yeah, combat is fun and the world is awesome to explore, but it's so boring. The characters and story are garbage. And I don't want to wait a year and a half, 2 years to play Outer Worlds 2 DLC because the optimization will still be garbage. Because I'll be running a 4070 at 1440p, 1080p, right? You know, medium settings and still only be hitting 50 frames. You're telling me I'm not hitting 70, 80, 90 frames minimum? Are you fucking kidding me? Like, the optimization is abhorrent in that game. And the only RPG studio that I have any fucking faith in anymore, at least under Microsoft, is inXile Entertainment with Clockwork Revolution. And if they fuck up Clockwork Revolution, I will have no faith in RPG developers, maybe except Larian. Because Larian has continuously shown us that they are a studio that will take their fucking time, in early access or not. And we have so many other RPG developers, like Blizzard, for example, even with Overwatch and with Diablo. Again, Diablo 4, release it in a poorish state and fix it later. And I understand this live service bullshit, man. It is just ruining gaming. It is so disappointing, especially developers that think it's okay to not only have it in multiplayer titles, but to bring it over to single player. Starfield is a perfect fucking example of Bethesda attempting to make a live service single player game because they didn't want to wait and get it right the first time.